And good morning. It's Erica here from Me Too Paper Crafts. If you were expecting me at 10 o'clock, I apologize profusely, but it turned out that one of the pieces of software that I use on my phone, which becomes my desktop camera, had been updated. And so I had to coordinate the update on my phone and on my computer. So I got that all worked out and everything seems to be working fine. So I'm back. So welcome, welcome. It is January the 6th today. It's my first Mojo Monday of the year. And I'm very happy to say that I don't know if any of you remember this mug. This is a mug that I had purchased when I was in New Orleans for a Stampin' Up conference called Backstage. And I had done a little bit of shopping and I found this mug, as ugly as it is. I mean, I'm really not a skull fan, except for the skull up here. I saw this and it had Mojo on it. So since I was already doing Mojo Mondays, I thought, well, that would be an appropriate mug to start my Mojo Mondays with. So every Monday I was having my coffee in this mug, and then I accidentally broke it. So I had it hanging from the edge of my dish rack, and I went to wash something else, and the plate or whatever it was caught this handle and broke it right off. Well, you can't fix a handle, you're done. And so it was very, very sad to throw the cup in the garbage. Well, to my greatest surprise, one of my best friends, Carol, she is often on here watching, and you've seen her on my Facebook page as well. She and her husband traveled around the United States last year in their minivan, and they went to New Orleans, and she found this mug, wrapped it up as a gift present. And I mean, I was so stunned when I opened the box, very excited. She actually took a video of me so that she could show her husband, because sadly he couldn't make it up. But anyway, I was just taken aback. So thank you so much, Carolyn Scott, for getting me this fantastic mug. So now I'm feeling much better about having my coffee mug here. Now, the strangest thing, though, with my coffee this morning is, oh my gosh, it tastes like perfume. It smells like perfume. I've washed the mug several times. I don't think it's the mug. I think maybe my coffee pods, I didn't rinse them out enough, and there's soap in there, because there looks like there's a little rim soap in my coffee. Yeah, and it smells like perfume, and it seems like a familiar scent. Anyway, it's driving me crazy. So I'm not going to drink any more of this because it's really not very pleasant. So we'll have to work out what is going on with my coffee. Okay, so without further ado, today is template number 6. And I actually did print it out. Let me go grab it off my computer because it will show you the layout and the measurement. So a couple of demonstrators, I think they're both from the United States. They were kind enough to work out the measurements for all the templates. Stampin' Up! Introduced templates in the annual catalog. This is our current annual catalog, so you'll recognize the cover. And on page 22, you can see down here, they put in a whole bunch of templates. Templates have become very, very common over, for years, actually. It's not a new concept, where they give you kind of a design and then you can go from there. So it gives you something to start with. I've used templates for years and years. They didn't give any measurements on these. They referenced them in the catalog. And these two demonstrators decided to put together documents giving you all the measurements. So that makes it much easier for other demonstrators to show and their customers. Anyway, the template we're using today is featured on page 65 of the catalog. And when you look at the catalog, you have to look very carefully. Now, I'm just going to zoom in my camera here, and I'm going to show you. So up here, you can see that they will give you the color combinations on the color wheel. If you haven't gotten yourself a color wheel, I highly suggest that you do, because it's a very useful tool. And then it has a tiny, tiny little picture depicting a template. Now, there are several pages with templates that are not featured in the template on the template page, but there are additional templates that you can use. So you can work out those measurements on your own, unless I pick one of them and I give them to you. But this is template number 6. So here is template number 6. I've blown it up so that you can see it. And I'm going to zoom out just a little bit more. And I'm going to switch my camera so that you see just my desktop. There we go. Okay. So basically it's 3 pieces of paper. Now, these 3 pieces of paper could either be designer series paper, or it could be, a piece of vellum. It could be a piece of cardstock, and you can do things with it. You could maybe run one through an embossing folder. You could splatter one with ink. I mean, whatever you want. It just gives you an idea. And then this could either be a greeting on a circle. If you don't want a circle, you can make that a square. Or it could be a greeting of some kind, or an image. So that's what this is all about. And then it just tells you this is the regular card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 is the size of your card base. Okay. So this is lots of fun. So now look at this. In the catalog, they show you, so I've marked it here. So here's the layout right here. And then this is the card. So now with this particular card, instead of using DSP or cardstock pieces, which measure 2 3/4 by 1 3/4, they've actually used this little shopping cart. So there's 3 shopping carts to represent those 3 pieces of paper. And then they've used a scalloped edge for this greeting. You see? So, I mean, you can just do any number of things. You have to really open up your mind and use the catalog to get inspiration. Okay? So that's kind of how the templates work. Now, for today, just to let you know, this is the very last week that you can order anything from our holiday catalog, because the new catalog, which is this mini catalog here, this is actually starting on January the 7th. You can start ordering from this cute little catalog on January 7th. And if you are currently one of my customers, or you don't have a demonstrator, you can get a catalog from me. You just have to contact me, and all my contact information is on my website, ericaedney.com. Yeah, so that's what's okay. So for today, I decided it's January. It's time to set aside all the Christmas stuff and make something from the catalog. So I wanted to let you know that along with the spring catalog, we have what's called Sale-A-Bration. Sale-A-Bration we've had for years. What it means is that when you spend a minimum amount of money, and this year it is $75. When you spend $75 on an order, you can order some free stuff from the Sale-A-Bration catalog. And in the Sale-A-Bration catalog, there could be stamp sets, it could be designer series paper, it could be ribbon, it could be an embossing folder, just a variety of different products, that some of which coordinate with products in this catalog, so you can coordinate them. So here's one of the examples. This paper pack is a free pack. I've already got 2 or 3 packs from my Sale-A-Brations, but it's just absolutely stunning spring papers. Okay, so I'll just flip through. I showed this in another video. So here you've got this beautiful pink floral, and they're 2-sided. So you've got lots of different colors to choose from. All these fresh, beautiful colors. And they're just gorgeous. Absolutely. So I love this one particularly. I don't know why. I think I like the more white space in the background, but it's got a gorgeous blue on the back. So you can coordinate this with some of your other papers. So that's this paper. So we're going to use that today in this design. And I decided to crack open a new stamp set. This is called With You in Mind. I can't yet open the catalog to show you. We're not allowed to open that until January 7th. But it is a greeting stamp set with a few images. So, you know, when you're really stuck designing, there's nothing simpler than having a card base, piece of designer series paper on top and then put a greeting on top. There's no dies that come with this. It's a photopolymer stamp set, but it's got these really fantastic greetings. Then they've given you a little cupcake. They've given you a little flower, some foliage, a heart, and a star. So you can kind of decorate the card with those. So I thought we'd play with this today. All right, so let's get started cutting our cardstock. So I decided to use Blackberry Bliss is one of the colors. I decided to use Blackberry Bliss in here. So I'm going to cut this piece to get a 1 3/4 by 2 3/4 in here. So let me grab my paper trimmer. Okay, now, as all of you know, probably, hopefully, I always start by cutting my 12 by 12 into 4-inch strips because they represent a basic layer, 4 by 5 1/4 on a card. So I start with a 4-inch panel and then I cut from here. So I want a 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to cut 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. So let's cut this down to 5 1/4 for a panel. Okay, so this is basically a layer on your cardstock. And I'm going to cut this down into 1 3/4 strips. So that's 1 3/4 and 1 3/4. Okay. So by starting off by cutting it 4-inch width, you always have a 4-inch width to decorate the inside of your cards. Because typically you put in a 4-inch panel and then you can cut this into, strips and then put that inside your card. So that's why I always start with 4-inch strips. Okay. So I need 2 of these and I'm going to drop this down to 2 3/4. So let's put these two together and put these at 2 3/4. Okay, now these little bits, I never throw anything away. I actually take my bits and I keep them in a little cellophane envelope protector. I'll show you in my package. So I purchased these plastic packages to put my paper in, and then all my scraps I then put in our card protectors, this little card protector. So I keep my scraps in here. Okay, because there's a technique called scrappy cards, and you can just plonk this on a card with some other pieces and you can use them up. Okay. All right, so we have these 2 pieces that are 1 3/4 by 2 3/4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, one like that, and then I'm going to put one like that, the reverse color. Okay. And then I need one more in a different print. So I thought I was going to use this piece here. And that kind of clashes, I think, but I like the back. So we're using this green here. And so I thought I'd pull in this green here. All right. So again, when you're cutting your paper, you want to look at both sides and make sure that the paper, that you know what the orientation of the print is. So we've got these little grassy bits with flowers on them. So this is definitely a directional piece of paper. So when you're cutting it, you want to cut it in the direction that you're going to be using it on your cardstock. So I'm going to cut this at 4 again. I always start with 4 inches. This is just my way of doing things. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this again, 5 1/4, which is my base layer. Okay. And now I need, again, they're all the same size. I need a 1 3/4 by 2 3/4. So I need 1 3/4 this way. No, I need 2 3/4 this way. So let's cut this like this. 2 2 3/4 this way. The reason I'm thinking this is that then this can be used on the inside of card as well. Okay, 2 3/4 and 1 3/4. So you kind of got to think about your orientation. Okay, so I've got my grasses going up in the right direction for this card. Although, guess what? I'm using the back. So that didn't really matter in that case. And then you kind of decide how you want to put these on your cardstock. Now, if you didn't like these directly on the Blackberry Bliss, if you wanted to pull in a little bit more white, you could put a layer of white on the back here, which would be 4 by 5 1/4. You could emboss it. So why don't we try and do that just to show you the variations that you can do. So I've already got some pre-cut basic white here. I usually cut a whole bunch so that I have, so I've got one for the outside. So this is 4 by 5 1/4, and I've got one for the inside. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and emboss this. Now I got a new embossing folder. Let me just grab it since I'm still inventorying some new products here. But here it is. It's called Starstruck embossing folder. To be honest with you, I don't know if it's in the new mini or if it's an online product because I haven't cataloged it yet, so I can't tell you. Let's open this up because it's got, see, I'm thinking of maybe incorporating this little flower here, and this embossing folder has little kind of daisies on it. So it's very cute. Okay, so now this is one of our thinner embossing folders. So I might have to put some shims in. So let's put that in. I'll take it over to my machine right here. And I think I'm going to have to put it between 2 acrylic plates because it's a thinner embossing folder. Let's see if that's going to work. Let's just run this through. Yeah. So when you have a thinner embossing folder, you do what we used to do with all embossing folders. We use the 2 acrylic plates to run it through. Look at that. That has some, you see, look at the texture. You can see it when I tilt it. Hey, good morning, Christine. Happy New Year to you too. All right, so that's going to be a fun little embossing folder to use. So it's called Starstruck. Okay. So let me just show you. So if you, like I was saying, if you don't really like this on the Blackberry Bliss, what we can do is put this on, and then we could put these pieces on in whatever order you think works for you. So they've got them staggered and they've got them overlapping a little bit like that. So it kind of brings out the colors a little bit more. What do you think of that, Christine? Because we could go with that. Now, what I was saying earlier, remember about cutting your paper. So I could choose to take, I could match up this green with this and put this on the inside of my card on the side here. And I might even cut it down so then I can use it on another card. Or I could take this strip and cut this down and use it at the bottom of the card. For the, yeah, I kind of like that for the bottom. So I'm going to just cut this down. This is 1 3/4 inches. So let's go. I don't care that they're exactly in half. Let's go, I like 1/2 inch strips. So we'll use this strip here. So I would put this on here like that. Okay. Oh, you missed my question. It's going to ask you what you thought about the white layered piece underneath the colors, rather than putting those pieces of paper on the Blackberry Bliss cardstock, breaking it up with a bit of white. Okay, I'm looking for my, oh, here we go, my silicone match. All right. So I have to tell you, I am really enjoying this Sweet Petunia glue gun. And it's already time to fill it up with Tombow, because it doesn't come with Tombow to begin with. It comes with a different product, and I don't find it as giving as Tombow. Tombow, you get to move things around a bit, but this one seems to dry pretty fast. All right, so we've got that on there. And then let's pull out this little daisy. We'll decorate the inside of the card a little bit. I might need to grab another color. Let me just see. I want to see the colors of the Designer Series paper is always on the back of the white cardboard that's in there. So we've got, let's see, where are my greens? Coastal Cabana. And Shy Shamrock. Let me go grab my Shy Shamrock because I want to do that leaf as well. And did it say Petunia Pop was in there? Yeah, Petunia Pop is a color. These colors all look great with Blackberry Bliss. Okay, so let's do the flower first. So I'm going to grab an acrylic block here. Okay, and we'll do Petunia Pop. So, and then very often when I decorate the inside of my card, I kind of do the same on my envelope. So let me just see, where is the, I love this little green leaf. Let's put that on a block. I recently cleaned all my blocks with alcohol. They're nice and sparkling clean now. Let's see, let's put this in here. Good, I love that color. And then we'll do the flower. There we go. Okay, just a little abstract art in there. Okay, so while I have that out, this is my process of stamping rather than having to go back. So I've got the inside done. And then on the outside, I'm going to do, let's see, let's do some leaves. I'm just going to make a little bit of a border along the bottom of my envelope here. And I'll just change the orientation of my stamp as I go. And then let's put the little flower in here. There we go. Do something just a little bit different. Okay, now let's close up. So what I wanted to look at is what greeting could I do in here on a circle? So these are pretty big greetings, but let's have a look at, let's take a look at a simple best wishes. Let's take a look at best wishes. Or never mind. Yeah, best wishes. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing yet, but let's do best wishes. And then I love circles, so I might do some circles. So before we start this, Let's glue these pieces down. Okay. Now, I always try to remember to tell you at this stage, before you put this piece down, this layer down, if you wanted to wrap a bit of ribbon around that, you could do that at this point in time. Okay. See, I'm running out. I'm running out. So I have to refill that with my Tombow glue. So let me just use this. Tombow is my ultimate favorite liquid glue because you have time to move things around. I love it. All right, so we've glued down our panel. And now let's remember where we put these. Look at that. I love those flowers. And it coordinates with the other side. And then we're going to do this one down here. Okay. Now let's see if I stamp Best Wishes. I just want to see. Let me grab a piece of white cardstock. Okay, and I think I'm going to do this in, whoops, I think I'm going to do this in Blackberry Bliss as well to bring the cardstock into the foreground, cardstock color. Now this is a brand new stamp, and sometimes with these more solid images, you need to condition the stamps, but these look, oh yeah, that is just a stunning. Look at that. That came out great. Sometimes they come out with little bubbles on them. Now I have some circle options here. I have this set, which is the Everyday Details dies. I love these dies. And then I brought out as well my deckled circles, which I love as well. And let's just see what size we might need. It's a pretty good breeding. Get away with a smaller one. Oh, look at that. We might get away with that one because I don't want it too big because it'll cover too much of my stuff there. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out. This will be an option. I'm going to work with a couple of different options here. Let's work this out first and see. I'm with my cutting plate back on my platform, and then I need a plate and a plate. Now, the reason I cut this, like you might think, oh boy, look at all that paper she just wasted, but I cut this out of the middle because this could act as a layer underneath some designer series paper on a card. Okay, so that's why I cut that out of the middle, or I will use the paper in another way. Okay, Best Wishes. Let's see if this is overkill on here. Actually, no, it's not. Or let's take that flower again. So maybe I will bring in this piece of paper now. Let's do something different here. Let's do the actually, I'm going to bring in a different piece of paper. Let's do Let's bring out this green again. Excuse me. And let's do this leaf. Okay. Let's do it my glue. Let's do this leaf and let's do the flower again. I have another idea too. I'm going to do this flower down here. Okay, and I'm going to take this smallest circle here. And I'm going to cut out this flower. So again, when you're using layouts, like I started with this layout and I've got the basic concept, and now I'm just embellishing however I feel I want to do that, right? So what I'm thinking of doing is taking this and cutting that out. You'll see what I'm doing in a minute. And I'm gonna cut this out as well. I'm using 2 other circles here. Okay. So rather than do the greeting, I'm going to give some options here. So I could do the greeting. Kind of like it overlapping all of those. I could do that. I could then add a little flower to it. Okay. Or I could reserve the best wishes for the inside of the card. And I might just stamp it directly on there. And I could do this sort of thing. Let's put this on here with this on here. And do something like that. Okay. So I'm kind of liking this idea. And then putting the best wishes on the inside of the card. What do you think, Christine? I could do that, or I could do these 2 things. I could put the little flower down there. I could put the little flower up here. I could even add some additional circles. I could do something like this. So there's any number of things you can do. So now it's just deciding what I like best. So while I'm deciding that, is I'm going to start gluing these bits on here. So this one is almost centered. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do this one. Okay. Sentiment with the flower. Okay, the vote is in. Sentiment with the flower. Okay. So let's see, we want to put something on dimensionals. That pack's almost finished. I've got a few pieces on here. So I think I'm going to pull up this. I kind of like it a little bit skewed. So best wishes. And then I cut all my nails down over the holidays. They are so short, I can't pick anything up. Can't need another. I'll just use some of my itty bitty ones here. Yeah, I think I like it here. There you go. So there is the card. And you could add some gemstones to this if you want, just to pop it up a bit more. So let's glue on our middle bit and let's close this ink pad before I have an accident. And let's grab my taper. And let's grab where my silicone mat went. It's funny how you just use something, and the next minute it's gone. I need to snip just a tiny bit off this edge here. There we go. And here's the inside of our card. Okay, so there's the inside, there's the outside, and there's the envelope. Okay, nice and bright colors for spring. So then on the inside, you could put happy birthday. Now, you may not want to use the large font from here. We have a large stamp here for happy birthday. Let me move these dies out of the way. It's huge. You know what? It'll look good. Best wishes, happy birthday. Let's do it. Look how big that is. Wow. This would be fun to fussy cut around as well. Shall we do this? I think I'll do this in, I will stick with Petunia Pop for blackberry rose. Let's do blackberry bliss. There you go. It's almost like you're yelling at the person, happy birthday. All right, there's your card today for layout number 6, and I will put the measurements in the description of this post so that you can have them, and I will also put a graphic of the Well, actually, I'll put a graphic of the template up there for you. So thanks so much for joining. I'll be back on Thursday night for Case the Caddy. And I'll case something from the annual catalog, I think, because that's still going until the end of April, I think. May, end of May. All right. Love having you here, and I will see you on Thursday night. Bye for now.